at the airport, a 79-mile-per-hour gust. I'll have more of that here momentarily. That is hurricane force. Now, luckily, we are beginning to see some improvement in that department. Now, we're not seeing any improvements. The temperature. We started out today. It's hard to imagine. We started out this morning. We were in the mid-50s. It's now down to 23 at the airport in Buffalo, 22 already in Clarence, already 20 in East Aurora. Of course, wind chills are already dropping into and through the single digits. So it is getting very cold in a hurry. As I always say, with big weather changes comes big weather. And we certainly saw that big weather and continue to track it here, even at this hour. I mentioned those wind chills. Yeah, it feels like 6 right now here in Buffalo, 4 in Batavia, 1 in Jamestown. And that's why if you get stranded, these are kind of dangerous type wind chills. So something we've been mentioning, where if you can just continue to hunker down, especially into some of those higher elevations where we are still dealing with whiteout conditions in some areas, that's probably a good idea. And as far as the SAISH goes, we're now beginning to see those water levels drop back off. But look how impressive, again, from earlier today, again, about 571 feet above sea level. That's where the lake was. But then how quickly over 6 feet, over a 6-foot rise in only a few hours. And again, water levels have dropped back off a couple of feet. So definitely some good news there. The winds can only keep that water driven towards one of the lake for so long. And again, those were some intense winds. There's that official report there of 79 miles per hour. Happened a little bit after 11 o'clock this morning. Dunkirk, we showed you that video, had a 69 mile per hour gust. And at the lifeguard station, a 64 mile per hour gust in downtown Buffalo. Now, as far as additional snow, we did have that burst in the city roughly around 3:30. That then cleared. And from time to time, we are getting into a couple of these little stray flurries, a few snow showers. If you've been watching here over the last little bit, I was mentioning just in my last weather hit in and around Amherst and Clarence, had a nice little brief squall. Didn't last all too long. And as you can see, it continues to slide even further to the east, making its way through Genesee County. So if you are watching, say, just south of Batavia, definitely getting into a burst of snow there. Also, even north of Batavia, a pretty good little burst of snow. And that's what we're going to see develop here over the next few hours. Notice the orientation of what is currently developing. Of course, there goes the burst. That's what rolled in earlier today. That continues to clear. That was actually a weather system. It was not lake effect that we saw earlier. What's happening now is true lake effect. And now we're getting, again, with a northwest flow, this is where we don't get that, say, single intense band of lake effect snow that produces snowfall rates 3-4 inches an hour. That's not going to be the case, at least tonight and tomorrow. But what we have, again, with a northwest flow, you get these kind of multiple bands. You can get one band here making its way through Orleans County, another band here moving into Genesee County. You got that little burst just south of Batavia. And again, that's what we'll continue to find. So very changeable conditions. At one moment, you might be absolutely clear. The next, you are in those whiteout conditions. And again, the best, at least where the snow showers will be most consistent, again, is going to be areas of ski country in the southern tier through tonight. This is at 10 p.m. Outside of that, any lake effect looks fairly manageable. But again, winds are still blustery, so still causing a lot of blowing and drifting snow. You encounter any open areas, again, especially into the hills, that's causing a lot of snow-covered roadways. So you might be in one of those situations where the road is actually clear, but you encounter where it's getting blown across the roadway. You might be traveling a little bit too fast because it's clear at one moment, and then all of a sudden you are in those wintry conditions. So again, use a lot of extra caution there with the changeable weather. And even tomorrow for Buffalo, I'm not expecting much in the way of snow. It's just going to be a cold, blustery day. In fact, if anything, we're going to see a little break in the action tomorrow afternoon. Notice not much showing up on the radar. So the lake effect does taper off quite a bit as we go through tomorrow. It's going to be a wintry start for ski country early, but some improvement afternoon and evening. Watch what happens, though, as we head into tomorrow night. So today was the windiest day of the week. Wednesday, that's going to be the snowiest day of the week. And let's track it for you here with Future Look. So here we are Wednesday morning, 7 a.m. Notice now, instead of those multiple bands, winds are now aligning more out of the southwest. And that's to begin to produce more of that single intense band of lake effect snow. And this does include some of the south towns stretching into ski country. So it's not just into some of the higher elevations. But yeah, if you're watching, say, around Hamburg, Orchard Park, West Seneca, Lackawanna, Wednesday is going to be a snowy one for sure. And even here in the city as we head into the afternoon, this is at 3 p.m. Look how the radar really fills up. So getting quite wintry here with widespread moderate snow here Wednesday afternoon. We do have a weather impact alert because of that, including even Buffalo here on Wednesday. Now, if you do have any New Year's plans, watch what happens. By 10 p.m., the snow, it's clearing the city, so quickly making its way south and east. And as we get closer to that magic hour, bringing in the new year, we stop this right at midnight. We're clear here in Buffalo. Now, it will be cold, temperatures around 20 for the ball drop, and there'll still be some residual cleanup from the snow that will fall during the afternoon and evening. But all in all, not too bad there. And again, we'll just have a few minor snow showers New Year's Day. It's just going to be cold and brisk here on Thursday with temperatures only in the low to mid 20s. So for Snowfall Mountain, this is just tonight. Again, for Buffalo, we're not going to see a whole lot. Again, with some of the stray snow showers, maybe about 1 to 3 inches, a little bit more so inland, especially into areas of Genesee County and into the higher elevations. That's where we could see 4 to 8 plus inches. Again, we'll get a little break in the action tomorrow afternoon. And then with that snow really ramping up later Tuesday night, Wednesday, look at the purples and pinks now begin to show up. These are the bullseyes where I think we are looking at a solid wide range of potentially 1 to 2 plus feet. And again, that is Wednesday into Wednesday evening. So again, take a look at your 7-day forecast after that weather impact alert for New Year's Day. Just looking quiet and cold. We'll have some sunshine, temperatures low to mid 20s. Another low system will arrive here on Friday. Just a few minor snow showers out of that. And in the wake of that, though, it just locks in the cold. We are below freezing now pretty much for the foreseeable future in the 20s for both Saturday and Sunday, potentially trying to climb back up to around 30 as we get closer to the beginning of next week. So definitely getting back into this deep winter pattern.